All right, thank you so much. Welcome once again. This is a fresh edition of Apex Snapshots that is kicking off on Apex One Radio at exactly 17 minutes past 11 here in the studio of this station, situated at the northern belt of the city of Columbus. We are broadcasting live from the United States of America. And of course, we will be bringing to here from the studio, a fresh edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. But before we start, we just want to present this great edition of Exceptional Teen. Exceptional Teen is a magazine that focuses on teenagers who do great things in our community. The new edition of this magazine has beautiful stories about teenagers, which you would love to read, and of course, learn more about this interesting population, which we call the leaders of tomorrow. We'll come back to this edition of Exceptional Teen talk more about that. But for now, we are focused on women, and of course, the 2025 edition of the CWC Multicultural Women's Conference takes place on November 1st here in Columbus. We have organizers of that event who will be joining us live on radio today to share information about it. But before we get there, let me say welcome to my guests who've now joined me here in the studio, beginning from my left. Lindora Howard-Diawara is not new to Apex One Radio. She's been here course of times, but today she comes with a different story. Lindora, good morning, and how are you? Come close to your microphone.
Good morning, Ernest. It's a pleasure being here again.
How was the working week, Lindora?
Busy as always.
I know. So Lindora is the founder and CEO of Business for Peace Community Development Foundation, correct?
Correct.
Perfect. Right. Lindora is accompanied to the station today by Dr. Lizzie Bronte. Dr. Lizzie is not new to Apex One Radio as well. Dr. Lizzie, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Dr. Lizzie is the founder and CEO of Just Like You Global Foundation. It is a non-profit organization that caters for the needs of women and vulnerable population. How is JLU doing, Dr. Lizzie?
JLU is hanging in there, doing work as usual.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we'll come back to that, but just to mention that according to the United Nations, women made up roughly half of the world's population, that is 49.6% in 2010. And in 2024, that number has risen, and women now occupy 49.72% of the world's population, according to data from the World Bank. And among these people, women aged 65 and above account for a remarkable 56% globally. That is data from the World Bank. And what does that tell us? That tells us that the population is growing and shaping the world economically, socially, and otherwise. Women continue to stand at the backbone of the family structure, and families are the blocks of nations. From economic productivity to civic leadership, women's contribution is profound. More women are raising their voices, leading change, and shaping policy, even as they still face steep challenges. Yet, women are not giving up. One powerful expression of this rise by women is through the civil society. Across the African diaspora, including Central Ohio, where we are, women are organizing, strategizing, and building. One such force is Columbus Women Connect, a network of women championing dialogue, solutions, and of course, empowerment. Now, in November of last year, this network organized its first annual multicultural conference, and almost a year later, they are back for number two of the same event. What has changed since then? What have the improvements been? And have the recommendations from last year been taken into consideration? These and more are some of the questions we will be posing to our guests in the studio. Lindora and Dr. Lizzie are right here with me. Gentle ladies, will just dive into the conversation without any waste of time. But I would like us to begin by some of the recent events which both of you organize, or with which both of your organizations organize. Beginning with Lindora, I know your organization organized its 10th anniversary recently. Tell us about it. How did it go? And since then, what has transpired?
Thank,
Go right ahead.
thank you very much. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, all has been well. The journey continues, of course. Going back to the 10th, that was the pre anniversary celebration here in Columbus. The 10th anniversary is actually at the end of December, December 30th. The foundation will be 10 years old, and we're going to celebrate in grand style in Liberia. So what we thought to do on September 13th was to
Get closer to your
basically
microphone, Lindora. Thank
was
you.
to basically invite supporters, friends, loved ones, family members to celebrate and show to them where we've come thus far, and basically say thank you to them for all of their support over the years. 10 years is no small time. We've learned a lot of lessons, but it's been a beautiful journey, and we've met some exciting people along the way, like Dr. Bronte. And so it's always a pleasure to be here to share.
So she's met you along the way. Could you share more on how you have collaborated with her, Dr. Lizzie?
Oh, yes, we have collaborated at very different levels, many levels. We just rounded up conversations. That is the video that came out from our event, the breast cancer awareness walk, which was a huge success. But prior to that, Lindora, such a fantastic person, came up with the bright idea of Columbus Women Connect, which is a collaboration of organizers, non-profit organizers or non-profit founders to just come together and brainstorm, come up with great ideas to expand what we bring from our silo communities to general community. So based on that, we've done a lot, just talking, learning, growing, presenting at workshops. I cannot say how much I have learned from collaborating with her, and I cannot say how much I look forward to collaborating and participating in everything that has to do with CWC.
I'll stay with you to find out about the recent breast cancer awareness work which JLU organized. How did it go? What were the successes at that event, and what next?
Point of correction, we organized. It was a partnership, right? Of course, JLU, because we talk about JLU because you know me, but I just want the world to know that it was a partnership between JLU, Wadisani Foundation, Business for Peace, Greater Columbus, and Fatu Cancer Awareness Foundation. It went extremely well, and I must say it went well because of that collaboration. We were able to take the time we needed to plan, to get everything in perspective. People showed up. Amazingly, people showed up on time. There were people at 7 a.m. I have never seen a community come together like I did at this event. People who came to walk were helping set up, helping with decorations, putting the food out. The walk was fantastic. The educational piece just blew my mind away. I did not realize how much resources we have within us. Having Dr. Edmund Follifact come and walk us through the cancer survivors, the food, the connection between the organizations was just amazing. And I cannot wait for another opportunity for this to happen.
Beautiful. And so that event happened a couple of weeks ago, partnership of organizations championing the cause of the woman. This is Apex One Radio, 28 minutes past 11 here in the studio. We are here today to share information on the upcoming second edition of the Multicultural Annual Conference organized by the Columbus Women Connect. So I would like us to go back to Columbus Women Connect for the sake of those who are coming across this organization or this network for the first time, Lindora. I know we've talked about that, but if somebody's coming across this for the first time, they will probably like to know again what Columbus Women Connect is all about.
Well, in short, Columbus Women Connect is a collective, a women's collective, with women founders, women leaders across Columbus, holding the hands of their daughters, their nieces, and aunties and mothers, and coming together just to figure out ways to support each other, talk about issues that matter here in Columbus, to women's own well-being, talk about issues that matters when it comes to leadership, when it comes to our families, when it comes to our homes, and just everywhere where we find women, those things that are of concern. We come together across generations to talk about various issues. So whether it's about the education of our children or professional development, our own professional development, there are varying issues. And so Columbus Women Connect, as you rightly said, was launched last year. And we are very excited to have connected with a few other women. There are some who have, one of the amazing women we connected with was Is Sudi Mohammed. She moved out of state. She's in Minnesota, but she's still in our chat room. She still finds way to contribute, to connect, and we're still talking and just building the network across communities, across organizations, and eventually we look forward to seeing it grow across states. Building collectives, that's our model as an organization. And so we have Columbus Women Connect here in Columbus, but we also have the Bond County Women and Youth Development Corporation in Liberia and in New York. I think I've talked about that before, where we have the Women United for Change in New York that hasn't yet been launched. We look forward to launching it sometime soon.
Just curiosity, I do understand you kind of promote connection. So how do the organizations that are based in the United States connect with the ones that are abroad?
Well, we basically take advantage of platforms like technology. So we hold meetings. We have annual events that are held via Zoom. For example, we will connect with people in Liberia. We have one of our signature events that is tagged the Liberia Diaspora Women and Youth Forum, Dialogue Forum. We have that every year in March. And so just connecting those in New York with others across the United States, even beyond the United States. Since we started that initiative in 2021, we've had over 7 countries represented in terms of participation, and more than 500 people have participated. So it's growing. The momentum keeps growing. The next one will be held next year, March. And so we are excited and also look forward to that. But that's how we connect, take advantage of technology and connect people via Zoom, via different platforms, just connecting through different events.
Dr. Lizzie, when I hear Lindora talk about growing momentum, that takes me back to these stereotypes. I know you and I off mic talked about stereotypes, but again, there are observers who hold that it's hard for women to come together and succeed. In where I come from, women are always blamed for being their own problem. But tell me, how, I mean, how do women come together and they're able to succeed, just like you, Lindora, and the rest are doing?
That is a great question, and I'm sure I grew up thinking that way too, because it almost seems like they make you believe. When you believe, you
Yep.
build those walls, and the moment you interact with another woman, you start to imagine that this relationship is not going to work. But I'll say this: it takes maturity in knowing what you want and looking for the right connections to put your time and energy into it. Why this is working for us is because I believe the women are intentional, they are determined to solve the problems that exist in the community. And because of that determination, we look beyond whatever could be a blocker, right? Like in every relationship, personalities may clash. I haven't experienced that, disclaimer. But what I'm saying is the way we forged this relationship, it was looking at the positive. And the positive really outweighs whatever negative might come up. So if that should ever happen, I'm sure we're still going to look at, hey, we're here for the common good, and that's all that matters. And I just want women listening out there to realize that there are good women out there, there are hardworking women out there, there are women who are positive thinkers. All you need to do is find the right network, connect, and grow.
That's interesting. Lindora, just name one thing which you think CWC has achieved this far.
Understanding. I would say those who have been involved and those who are beginning to get attracted to the CWC have figured out that this is not just any group, that there is a reason why we've come together, and it's about self-development, it's about collective action. So just having that basic understanding is what has been important, and we see people continue to come toward us in terms of being a part of this process.
The Multicultural Annual Conference takes place on November the 1st. That will be the second edition. It is a come together by women from all backgrounds, from diverse backgrounds. The first edition happened in November of 2024, and CWC is proceeding to hold the second edition. And that's what we'll be talking about in this edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio, focusing on women. Lindora, tell us about this concept, Multicultural Annual Conference. I would imagine that it is CWC's first baby, correct?
Yeah, in terms of that, if that big event where we officially launched the CWC, yeah, I would agree that, well, even though CWC herself is still a baby, but that's the very first initiative that we launched out there. So this conference is multicultural in the sense that it brings together women from different cultures, different countries or nationalities, women from different professions. And so that's why we tagged it multicultural, because there's not much of that really happening across different communities. And so we thought to foster multiculturalism in that sense. This year's conference will be held on November 1st, as you rightly indicated, and will again bring women together, not necessarily to say we had ABCD specific actions we're now going to take stock. No, we're coming together this time around on the theme, looking at the issues of women's health, women's wealth, and well-being, bringing mothers together to basically talk again about those issues that are of concern, but foster the bonds, kind of like add more glue to what we already have to strengthen the bonds that we have, build new relationships, expand our partnerships across different sectors, and be able to support each other. Why are we talking about women's health? As you rightly said, women are in the majority. Every country that I've gone to, and I know that women are in the majority. But when you think about those that are marginalized, disenfranchised, victimized, and all the words, women, girls, and basically, youth are highlighted, and then you have seniors, and the list goes on. And so if we are in the majority and we continue to face so many different challenges. We carry the burdens of society, and just managing that vis-a-vis our own is not easy. When you look at the data in terms of health, domestic violence is increasing. Why are women being victimized? It's a big question. It's not just here in Columbus, it's global. When you look at the issues of wealth, the Women's Fund of Central Ohio just even brought up a new report, came up with a new report on women and wealth, basically saying that money is not health. Money doesn't do it for women alone. Well-being does it. And so well-being for us is important. Dr. Bronte just talked about the cancer awareness that we just had. We're fortunate to have Dr. Folefak at that event, who basically came to tell us about the importance of being aware of what we need to do to prevent, because prevention, as we always say, is better than cure. And so there's so much that we need to know, packed with so many resources, and yet people still don't understand what's available. And so coming together intentionally in this manner to talk about those issues at this conference is important for us. For example, we're going to have as our main speaker, Representative Munira Abdullahi, who is the representative of the 9th district here. She's going to come and basically speak to us on her own experiences as a leader, being in a House of Representatives, but also as a woman in her community, what she thinks about the importance of being healthy, the importance of women increasing their income to remain wealthy or to grow wealthy, and also to have that kind of stability when it comes to well-being. So she'll be talking to us. We have also Dr. Buhari Mohammed from Ohio Family Health Care Facility. He has a big One Ohio Health. He has a big facility here that recently even got a big grant to expand the services across Columbus. He's going to be there to tell us about what opportunities they provide through their own services, through their own facilities, and then also how they support community members and what we need to know in terms of how we reach out for support. We're also going to have Dr. Folefak, who will be there again sharing with us through panel discussions on the importance of cancer awareness, what we need to take note of. We will have women leaders telling us about the businesses they run, the institutions. Other professionals will be telling us about what they do on a daily basis. But in addition to talking about all of the things that's happening here in Columbus, the positives, we want to know about the challenges. We want to talk about the challenges across different communities and how people are dealing with it, identify gaps, and say, well, this is where we want to basically seek support. This event is also being sponsored by Adam Ish. That's the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County. They are basically in the forefront, pushing for resilience, pushing for recovery, because there are issues of alcohol and drug abuse, but there are also issues of mental health. And so they are concerned through their operations on a daily basis to ensure that Columbus, Ohioans thrive, and that resilience is a priority for all of us. So there will be lots and lots of conversations. There will be lots and lots of discussions. We have space there for others in the community to come and share resources. So we are looking out for vendors. We have vendors that are signing up. We will have tables. They will be there with varying, just across different areas. Some women will be there to sell their arts and crafts. Some people will be there to give health resources. Some people will be there to just share what they have in terms of offering to the community that day. And so we are looking forward to that gathering. We anticipate having at least 100 persons in the hall. And we hope also that Adam Ish will have someone there to basically tell us more about what they do and why they thought it important to also support our initiative.
That event is happening on November the 1st, 2025. It's a Saturday, time 10 a.m. and it'll run till 4 p.m. So if you are a woman living in Central Ohio and its environs, then this event is for you. Get there, connect, network with other women, because women issues will be discussed. It's the second time CWC is organizing this event, but each time that happens, more lessons are learned, and of course, more information is shared. This is Apex One Radio. We're live the United States of America. I would like us to go back to health. I know she's kind of expounded on that, but Dr. Lizzie, is there any issue with women's health nowadays?
There are several issues, stress being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or the top, I must say. We live in a different time. We live in a time where everything is so fast-paced and much is expected of a woman. In order to balance that, if you're not very careful, you may lose yourself in the process.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I learned as I was working with the other ladies to plan for the cancer awareness walk, someone asked me the question. I had to go dig up more answers to it. Why are you partnering to create awareness of cancer, of breast cancer? You're normally supposed to be talking about domestic violence.
Mm.
And I had to take my time to educate, to say, listen, stress is the cause of many illnesses. When you are overly stressed, you are at a high risk of getting cancer. So if you're in an abusive situation, you will be stressed. And that puts you at that same high risk position
Mm-hmm.
of getting cancer. So everybody needs to be aware, abuse or not. But what I'm trying to tell you is the health factor for women is a rising concern because of the expectations. I've seen so many men create awareness around, we expect women to work, to be the backbone of the family, to cook, to contribute equally, but at the same time be a woman. That is stressful, and that can generate many illnesses. That's why conferences like this, conversations like this, discussions like this are relevant and essential for the community.
But do you think this is going to change anytime soon? Because as a matter of fact, as you and I speak, it is what it is. We still have to go through those. We still have to go to work. We still have to go through those stressful moments, especially living in a society that is so demanding. So, where is that prevention which you mentioned a while ago? How do we navigate that?
That's why we're encouraging people to come to the conference on the 1st, because in that moment, they will learn from professionals, they will learn from other people's experiences to see that it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible to change how we do things. It is possible to learn and develop yourself to the point where you can balance stress and live a life that you would consider, well-being.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process to learn it, but it is possible. And I strongly believe that a problem known is a problem half solved, in the words of Einstein, because now we know that these problems are prevalent, and CWC is taking action to discuss them and find the solutions. So yes, change is possible.
Solutions begin with knowledge of the issues, and of course, that is what the CWC upcoming conference is all about. But as women struggle to navigate through all of this, the yearn to be wealthy is still there as well, and some observers hold that wealth or creating wealth is part of the solution of today's numerous problems. And I when I was looking at the theme of this event, Lindora, I saw wealth as one of the things you'll be discussing, and I was asking myself, should women be chasing wealth when we know society is also looking up to them to keep the home, together? Can you do both at the same time?
You have to do both at the same time. That's the other way you can help create some kind of stability for you as a woman. And the reason why I also think so is because, and I would think basically a lot of African women have that. I started selling at a very young age, even though I always joke that every time I used to sell peanuts at a
Okay.
very young age. Um, and every time someone came to buy one little pack, they buy one and I would eat one. But through the process, I learned that getting
So
my
how did you
own
make your
money.
profits at the end of the day?
Well, at
She
that
ate
at that
them.
level, I didn't have to pay rent.
Okay.
She
But
ate her
over
profit.
time, I kept learning through the process, and I've always sold things. And by doing that, I've always had some kind of money somewhere.
Mhm.
Whether it was coins tied in the lapa, the end of the lapa, or wherever. Sometimes I would put it around, and then when I'm really broke, I go looking for those coins. But coming back to the main issue, wealth is so important for us immigrant women, for example. Like many people, we live in two worlds, between two worlds. A lot of us are here in the US, we are taking care of families back home. Dr. Bronte talked about stress.
Mhm.
Living in this country, paying bills, the system here is something that we are still grappling with every day, learning to deal with that. Credit cards here, you're in debt, you have people calling you, so many things. So it's not just stress at the level of the home or the community or at the job. It's just multiple, it's at every level. How you balance that, the question you asked at the Bronte, one of the reasons we're both founders of foundations. Imagine all that we carry and we decide we want to be founders of organizations. Sometimes we're up 12 a.m. and midnight, and we are basically texting each other. And we're saying we don't know. And I was joking with her the other day and saying to her, "Then we have to train our toes to type," you know. But we support each other. We find a way. If there are things that she needs help with, I come in and help. If there are things I need help with, she comes in, and that's what we all find right now within the CEWC to some extent. Supporting each other helps to create that kind of balance. When it comes to the issue of wealth, we all have jobs, or most of us have jobs. Our salaries, sometimes by the time the salary comes, it's already used up.
Mhm.
How do we deal with that? So it tells you that we need to have opportunities to grow our income. And so at this conference, it's part of well-being.
Mhm.
When you don't have money in your pockets, you cannot sleep. When you don't have money in your pocket and your child falls ill, how are you going to deal with that? If your credit card is maxed out, you don't have money to deal with your bills or deal with many other things. Or you have relatives calling you from abroad to say, "Can you help me with this?" How do you deal with that? And so that adds on is part of the stress or the stresses that we deal with. Financial aspect is part of it. And that's why we want to also talk as part of the well-being and wealth overall. We want to talk about financial well-being. We want to look at what opportunities are there to grow our wealth and just learn again, like Dr. Bronte said, from the experts in the hall. All of us have some sort of experiences. We will be sharing our experiences as well, but just creating that space to first and foremost, as women, talk about money, because not in many places we don't do that. Not many of us want to talk about money. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about other things that make us wealthy, because I say to people, I'm wealthy when it comes to my network. I have a huge network, and that's part of my wealth when I'm calculating wealth. So what's wealth for us? We want to talk about those things, share and learn from each other.
Mental health will feature conspicuously at that conference. Dr. Lizzie, I remember 5 years ago, you and I talked about mental health in one of the interviews we had on this station. 5 years down the road, we are still talking about mental health, and perhaps in 2 years we'll still come back to mental health. When will mental health cease to be a problem?
It will never cease to be a problem as long as we exist. But conversations like this will give us the knowledge that we need to cope and balance our act. So I'm not sure how much you want me to speak on this, but I don't see mental health issues going away, because the more complex the world becomes, the more complex. I mean, there's AI. Some people are already panicking because AI is there. That's another mental health issue coming somewhere in the horizon. So issues don't go away. Solutions come as issues manifest themselves. Again, I don't want us to give all the answers here,
Right.
because someone may just sit in their home and listen to everything.
And not
We
come to the
want people
conference.
to come to the conference because we have most of the answers, and especially Lindora mentioned the resources. access to the resources. When you have or experience these issues, where do you go? Columbus, I'm starting to discover, thanks to my network and my connection with Lindora and the other ladies, has a wealth of information. The question is, how much do we know? How well do we take advantage of it, right? We want to talk about wealth, which also will either trigger your mental wellness or not. How much do you know about managing the money that you make already? How do you know about growing it? And how do you know about, making that money become generational wealth? I say we invite everybody, all the women, to come, make space for your day next week. It's just a couple of hours. Just come, and you will live very fulfilled. You may even have some solutions to the issues that you're dealing with right away.
And amongst the women who will be taking part at that conference will be mothers as well, and you'll be talking about empowering mothers. Do you want to share a little bit about that without letting the cat out of the bag, Lindora?
Well, the information is empowerment. And so all of us as mothers, again, all of what we'll be talking about is not just limited to the public space, for example. It's going to cut across our homes. We're going to be learning lessons and acquiring knowledge and skills to apply wherever we find ourselves. I'm a mother. Lizzie's a mother. A lot of us are mothers. So one of the things that we've also been talking about in our meetings that is of concern is our kids. How do we really get our kids involved? Like Lizzie said, with AI, with social media, our kids have their own communities. They have online communities. When a lot of us were growing up, we had one-on-one engagements and whatnot. How do we bring our kids near us, closer to us, to learn from us and have the kind of conversations that we need to have so that they're not just seeing us as workaholics, but that they're understanding or trying to get some kind of clue as to why we keep moving, that the world is pushing us, and as we move and hold hands of others, we're trying to find a balance, that they're not just looking at me and saying, oh, my mom, she has too many friends, but they will understand the reason why I have friends is to be able to find that balance, but also is for my own stability and well-being, and learn beyond that, so that as they're making connections, they understand that it's important to choose your friends wisely. So our children have been on our mind. How do we deal with, we see the statistics about children and young people in prisons? The numbers are rising. How do we deal with them? How do we really support each other? The issue of childcare as mothers is big. As women, there are so many things we want to do, but if you are stuck with kids, and you don't have anyone to help you, it becomes complicated. In Africa, we live in community. I say to people, when I'm in Africa, I have nieces, I have sisters, I have so many people to look after my kids, and I can go flying all around and do other things. But when you're here, you're the maid, you're everything. How do you find a balance? So again, as mothers, we will be talking about those issues that are close to our hearts, and just figuring out how other mothers do it and what we can learn, and together how we build this solidarity to ensure that our kids are also cared for, that when Lizzie see my kids, she will recognize them. When I see her kids, she will I will recognize them, and we support each other, and then gradually our kids can start learning to build those kinds of networks and not just see it as troubling parents just want to be out there looking for stuff to do.
And how do you factor that concretely into this? I'm talking about a situation where you will have these children, they are teenagers, college students who already know some of these things. So how do you bring them in so they know that CWC is doing, is doing something like this, so they can even attend, and why not take part in the conference? So do you think about bringing them on board as well as an organization?
Oh, sure. First of all, as an organization, and even Lizzie's organization, we don't just work with women. We also girls are our targets.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about this event, the CWC activities, one of the things we keep talking about is the importance of bringing along our kids.
Mm-hmm.
I've already said to my daughters, hey, you're going to be there, take you. Now they've started working. Oh my goodness. Oh, I have to work. I have to work. And I say, well, find that time. Make sure you come to the conference because they can come and volunteer. We need help to volunteer, but at the same time participate. Last year they were there. They helped set up, they helped do the registration. While they were doing those things, they were also listening. We had
Can they also contribute in the discussion?
yeah,
Okay.
we had our speaker, Fran Frazier, who came along with a lot of the young women that she worked with, who were also participants, and they were in a group session. We had a specific youth roundtable, a session where they did some artwork and so forth, just talking about issues that are of concern to them as well. So there's space. We have a lot of space for our children. We have a lot of space for young women going forward as we continue to grow as CWC, because like I said, we're just going to be 1 year old in November. And so as we grow and continue to take baby steps, we together will begin to figure out how do we become more intentional in terms of bringing on board young women, so that it's not just about us, but obviously to be able to prepare for that movement, we have to find that balance and get to know each other better, and then prepare to take that next big leap. The other thing I'd like to add is that even though we are talking about women and girls, men are also allies. And so last year's conference, we had the Veteran FC show up. It's a male organization. They basically support sports. They support a lot of things happening across communities, but sports is their channel. They mobilize using sports. And so they showed up to our conference, and surprisingly, they handed us a $500 check, which was very interesting, and just trying to figure out ways to connect more with them, support their activities, and get them involved in what we are doing. And just because in our homes we have our husbands, we have our brothers, we have our sons, they too need to learn these lessons so that at the end of the day they become better fathers, better companions, and better community members and leaders.
Become better community members and leaders by getting involved and actively taking part in community issues, including conferences like the one that is coming up on November the 1st this year, organized by the Columbus Women Connect. It is the second edition. The first took place in November of 2024. And of course, it was a success story. Just to let you know that a fresh edition of the Exceptional Teen magazine is already on the stands. So procure a copy of this. Otherwise, contact us on Apex One Radio. You can share more information on this latest edition of the beautiful and glossy Exceptional Teen magazine. This is Apex One Radio. We're gradually but steadily moving to the end of this review with organizers of the Columbus Women Connect Multicultural Annual Conference, whose second edition will happen on November the 1st this year. It's going to be a Saturday. Let us go back to the organization. We were talking about vendors a while ago. Are these vendors strictly women, or they just have to sell or exhibit stuff that have to do with women?
Well, no, it's anybody. Anybody
Okay.
can be a vendor, because like I said, there will be people who will come to sell their artifacts, their African clothes or whatever they want to sell. The only exception is that we're not having food vendors.
Okay.
So people can come in with their resources. We had one health, I think their clinic. They called to say, oh, we saw your information. It said, okay, can we sign up? And I said, sure. She said, and I just said to her, the only vendor that we're not accepting is food vendors. We're going to have food in the hall for free. So we're not going to be selling food, but folks can come up with resources from their organization, brochures, whatever information, resources to help people learn about just general health issues, whether it's suicide, whether it's dealing with depression, whatever health related, wealth related, and information you have, come out and join us. Again, it's not just women coming as vendors, everybody. Men can come as vendors. Men need to also be in the hall, because one of the things we also learn, or that we have been learning, is that men are also getting breast cancer. So come in here, listen to Dr. Folefak, and hear some of the information that you can take back, so that you not only prepare for yourself as a man, but prepare just in case you have a wife, a daughter, or a family member that will come down with cancer or any other health-related issue, depression, stress, talk about suicide and whatnot. So we want to just create that space to talk, because for us, talk is very important.
I would want to imagine that 6 days to the event, the vendors list is not closed yet.
No, it's not closed.
Okay, so what does it entail to become a vendor at that event?
There is actually a link where people sign up. So
You can go ahead and share that link.
Pardon?
Yeah, you can go ahead and share the link.
Well, it's I can share it with you.
Okay.
Maybe send it to you if you want to put it up. I can share that, and you can put it up, and people can definitely sign up. But it's not like it has a special tag on it.
Okay.
I'd also like to add to, besides just being a vendor, I want to also call on the community, the men, to support and sponsor events like this. You don't have to be a vendor.
Mhm.
Last year, the Veterans of Columbus, Ohio supported with a $500 check, as Lindora mentioned. That is going to help, and that has helped organize this year's event. We're growing, activities are growing, we're getting women and girls involved, we're bringing education. So we need all the sponsorship and all the support that we can get. We don't just want people to feel like, oh, I don't have anything to sell, so I'm not going to go there. No, you can support. You can still find a way to send a check, donate $50 towards something. It's going to help. It's for the community. It's going to benefit everyone.
It's definitely going to benefit everyone. It's for the community, and you may just want to support this event by way of sponsoring it. You can also donate, and that is for community development. Of course, it is a noble mission what the women are doing. So they are open to donations and, of course, sponsorship and even partnerships. So this is Apex One Radio. We are live from the United States of America. Let us quickly and briefly go back to the speaker. And Dr. Lizzie, I do understand that the keynote speaker at that event will be is an Ohio State House representative. I would like to find out why the choice of that particular keynote speaker, and do you think that it has an impact, like the choice of that keynote speaker has an impact on that event in terms of perhaps the office she holds?
I'll defer that question to Lindora.
Yeah, so in terms of the thanks again for that question. Why Representative Abdullahi? One, she's the representative where we are having for District 9,
Mhm.
and where we've been having most of our activities are in her district.
Mhm.
The fact that we have a female representative, the first Somalian female representative, is key. It's a women's conference, and we are talking about issues of well-being. One of the things that we haven't yet mentioned is considering the current political climate
Okay.
for immigration, for immigrants. There are a lot of issues. We've seen the laws change. We've seen different things happen, and that is contributing, is impacting our well-being as women.
Mhm.
It's impacting our well-being as communities, as families. So in as much we are talking about health, with a lot of people not sure of where the next SNAP benefits will be coming from in a couple of months,
Mhm.
with the government shutdown, with the issues of deportation, with so many things happening across our immigrant communities, having someone from the House come to just also conscientize us to also say to us as women, all of what we are talking about is important, but representation is also important when it comes to leadership, because having people in those key decision making seats, having people in key decision making positions is very, very important for us as women. When we see the rules changing overnight, it has to do with those that are making decisions because it impacts us as women. So, as the first Somalian female rep here in Ohio, and also a young woman coming to connect with us, she, we thought, will bring some key message to us about things that we also don't know what's happening in the house and things that we also need to know. Overall, it's also going to be very important for us to connect with her. There are a lot of us who don't know her. I got to meet her for the first time when I went to Texas for an immigrant conference in December of last year. That was work related. I saw her at a panel. It's interesting that I had to go see my rep in Texas, but that's real. That's what happens. We don't know those people that lead us. And so this presents for us a key opportunity. Elevating that a bit is also this year, October 31st, when we look at the Women's Peace and Security Agenda globally. October 31st marks 25 years of the Women's Peace and Security Agenda. And we think that as we continue to progress in terms of our work as women, it's good to look back and talk about those things that are happening globally, those things that are happening beyond our communities, and just connect. So celebrating 25 years of women, peace, and security is going to be something that will be done globally. And just having the next day as our time to discuss and connect and speak with our leaders is also part of all in terms of pushing forward the women, peace, and security agenda. And so Representative Abdullahi is indeed the right person to speak. And that's why we were very excited when we reached out to her and she said yes.
Apart from the discussions that may get really intellectual at times, what other kind of activities will you feature at that event? I know, Dr. Lizzie, in most of the programs we have had you organize, we've seen women even get to the dancing floor and dance, play games and things of that sort. So is that going to be the case with this event as well? What are the other activities that will feature on that day?
Well, on that day, we basically will have conversation starters. There will be stuff on the different tables. So like we'll have sticky notes. We will have some conversation cards on different tables because and also some plain cards. As the conversation goes on, we want people to like kind of write down, their thoughts, things that they think will be important, because at the end of the day, we will collect it. Similarly, last year we did the same thing and we got some good feedback. We will have some cultural performances. We are still having confirmations come in. We had 2 performances last year, including an Egyptian dance, which was also very beautiful. Unfortunately, we've gotten feedback that they're not prepared to come this year, but we will have others. We hope to have some performance group from the Somalian Bantu community that will also come. So far we've had like 2 commitments. And so in addition to those cultural performances, we are also expecting to have a poet who hasn't yet confirmed, a Syrian poet who hasn't yet confirmed. We will reach out to ensure that we have all of the people in-house, but we will definitely play some music in the hall from different countries just to give it more of that multicultural vibe that we're looking for, not just in conversation, but in style, in our dress codes and whatnot. But we will have, it's going to be for 6 hours, and we are saying to the members of CWC, come in with ethnic-based food so we can have, last year we had food from different countries. We hope to have same thing this year so people can come and get a taste of what our food, ethnic food tastes like. So yeah, we will just have a mix of every little thing.
Dr. Lizzie,
This,
okay,
this is
go
the
ahead.
part where Ernest called on Cameroonians to sign up for the cultural events. We have a lot of them in Columbus, Ohio. We see them all the time. So this is a great
Yep.
opportunity for the Cameroonian groups to sign up. It's free, show up, and also expose your culture to the other nationalities so they see what a beautiful culture we have.
What a beautiful culture we have. Of course, a multiplicity of cultures, especially within the Cameroonian community. Let those cultural groups sign up for this and upcoming events. That is a good one there. But Dr. Lisa, I wanted to find out from you, after every such event, do you always hope to have participants tell a different story when they come back for the next?
Of course.
Otherwise, what are your expectations for
We,
this
we
event?
always want participants to leave with that aha, oh wow, I'm so glad I came.
Mhm.
If I did not come, my goodness, I would have missed so much. We know that's going to happen and we expect that. We also will hope that when that happens to them, when we go through that aha moment,
Mhm.
they let us know. We also expect them to say, oh, you know what, I really had a good time, that we would love to see this. We expect to grow. We do the best we can to give our all into it so people get the information, the fun, the laughter, the learnings, the taste from the food and everything, right? You shop also from the vendors and you go home wholesome. But we also want to know what we can do. So the third edition is even better and more banging than the second edition. I do encourage people to come. This is going to be awesomely fun and educational. So just make plans to show up. Bring your children with you. This is the moment to introduce them to different cultures so we can start engaging.
And if I may just come in there, one of those moments for me last year was when we had this little girl, Shirley. Shirley is like 7 years old. She was at the event, and after the Egyptian performance, uh, she came. The leader was she's a doctor, and then she came to me. She said, "Oh, Auntie, where is that little girl that was dancing?" And I started laughing. I said, "Which little girl?" She said, "Oh, the lady that had on the girl that had on the red." And I said, "Oh, that's a big woman, Shirley. She's a doctor." And I said, "Why are you looking for her?" She said, I really enjoyed her dance. I wrote, I did her a card. So we had cards at the event. So she took one of those cards and wrote a very beautiful thank you note. And she wanted to hand deliver this. So I took her to them. They were changing. I took her to them. She hand delivered her note. She felt very good. And she took a picture with them. And I sent her that picture afterwards. And she was very happy. So different things happen that we don't plan,
Mhm.
but it happens. So again, yeah, like she said, bring your kids along.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you've established a mechanism for the measurement of progress, especially from one edition of the conference to the other. But you just answered that question. But let me find out, what is the goal for this year's edition?
The goal is to create that space to come and learn and and share resources. One of the things that we are also doing as part of this conference is that we are developing a resource guide
Mhm.
that will be shared, because like we said, so there are so many resources across the city. Adam is just, for example, launched their crisis center, so where anybody can go there and they will receive services, service for whatever issues they have. And not many people know about that. Adam Ish has so many resources. Different organizations, institutions have so many resources. For us, we talk a lot, we hear word by mouth, uh, uh, about certain things that are happening, but we also want to develop this guide and also basically hand it out. It's going to be there in the hall, so everybody will walk away with a resource guide, so that when they need some specific information, they just have to flip the pages. They know where to get support for mental health. They know where to get support for depression, where to get support for whatever issues they may be, even for cancer treatments and whatnot. So breast cancer testing, screenings, and so forth. So we want to put as much as we can in there and share also with people that will come. So we encourage everybody, please come and let's just have a good time.
All right, come, let's have a good time. Do you have any other important information to share as far as organizational modalities are concerned?
Well, not really. I think we've thrown a lot out there. One thing I know is that Apex Radio will be there covering the program, and our team in Liberia, they are on a standby to also share this recording, and will be following to share the information, because even though we have a corporation there, they are in central Liberia. They are also in tune with what's happening here. So it's good that Apex Radio will be there and covering the program. So please also make sure you bring your daughters with you so that they also participate in the event. But overall, it's going to be an exciting 6 hours that we will spend together from 10, and I'm not talking African time or whatever. I mean 10 a.m. We're going to start at 10 a.m. So please be there, and let's just have a good time of learning. We're going to be learning from each other.
All right, can you share the venue?
The venue is 1200 Wagoner Road, Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 43068.
Okay, that is 1200
Yeah. South
South
Wagoner Road,
Wagoner Road.
Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 43068. That's going to be at the Messiah Lutheran Church's edifice compound. We will be in the fellowship hall. Is just on the side of the main church building. So it's not inside the church, but it's in the fellowship hall.
All right, so the message has gone across. The event takes place on Saturday, the 1st of November 2025, just 6 days from today. And the venue of that event will be 1200 South Wagoner Road, Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 43068. And for those of you who may still want to be part of that event as a way of exhibiting your products, then you can still join the vendors list. It is still open, and to do that, you probably have to reach out to you.
Yeah, I
telephone
sent you the
contact?
link as well. So if
Okay.
you want to share it on your page, that would be fine.
All right, we will do well to share that information on the Apex One Radio official Facebook page. All right, so we're about to run off this conversation. Dr. Lizzie, your last word. I know when it comes to anything about women, you are always very excited.
Yep.
Always,
Sir.
I'm always excited because this power in investing in a woman.
Mhm.
So I hope that everybody, to our listeners out there, I hope that you are encouraged by this effort that this group of women are making to change the narrative for our children, especially. Lindora just talked about the importance of parenting and doing it right in a land that we're still adjusting and learning how to navigate ourselves. And then we bring children into it, we have to learn. So I'm excited because there's going to be a lot to learn, a lot to gain. I'm actually most excited because of the food. There's going to be food from all the different countries. I hope people are coming ready to eat. I also hope that as you listen, you are touched to sponsor, to donate, to ensure that this continues. We thank those who already are looking to support, and we hope to see more attendance. We hope to see more involvement. We're also inviting our men. This is not just for the women. Men, you have to support us, because when you do, we do better. It's a collective for all of us. It's for the family. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. And for the Cameroonians who would like to showcase their traditional dances, just reach out to me. I'm sure by now all Cameroonians know how to reach out to me. Please do so I can forward your name and your group, and just be prepared to show up and dance.
Reach out to Dr. Lizzie Bronte if you wish to take part in this event as a traditional group or cultural organization. You know how to reach to her. And as you listen or watch this piece, be touched to donate to this organization. Of course, it is a noble cause, unarguably. Lindora, your last word as we run off.
Okay, I'll start with the food. One of the fun facts about me is that I love to cook. And so I'm also going to be cooking for that event. So if you want to taste some of what I make, Just show up and let's have a good time. So adding on to what Lizzie had said, we're looking for just come in your cultural attires, and this is an opportunity. There are some groups who we reached out to, and they basically declined because they wanted to get paid. But this is an opportunity for free advertising. Come and showcase your culture. Come and showcase what you do, even if you do it for business. We're a small group. We basically spend our own money to have these events. It's going to be educational. It's going to be win-win for everybody. Everybody will be there and learning from each other. So if you know you are out there, like she said, come and showcase what you have. Showcase your culture. Even if it's about storytelling, we had one of our events where one of our sisters, Mabel, just came and she had her PowerPoint presentation to talk about Colombia, the beautiful aspects of Colombia, beyond just thinking about drug cartels and whatnot. So anything, just come and join the group and let's have fun.
You won't lose anything attending
Nothing.
the second edition of the CWC Multicultural Annual Conference. Of course, it's going to be a win-win should you attend that event. Remember that it's going to take place on Saturday, November the 1st, 2025, and the address is 1200 South Wagona Road, Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 43068. And that is how we put a full stop to this edition of Apex Snapshots that focused on women this beautiful Saturday morning, Saturday the 25th of October 2025, 6 days to the second edition of the CWC Multi-Annual Conference, Multicultural Annual Conference. Thank you so much for coming, Lindora.
You're most welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Lizzie.
Thank you.
And
Always.
thank you for those of you who were keen on this show. Do have a fantastic rest of the weekend. And may God continue to bless you as you listen to programs on Apex One Radio. Bye for now.